Hey everyone.
Hey.
Welcome back to our channel of
Ebb and Flow
with your host Shannon
and William.
Lovely. Yes, we both did it at the same time.
I'm surprised I had to get with that.
So I'm just gonna be very transparent, and I know Will is on board as well.
Yes.
So we had a little bit of technical difficulties.
This is take 2.
So it is take 2 of our YouTube channel version of the podcast, but on Spotify it is just one clear take.
You got the original.
Yes.
It's a little special for you guys.
I have no idea what happened, but somehow it picked up a good chunk of our podcast itself. So we're very happy about that, but just being very transparent with you all, because that's what we're doing as far as being transparent with our podcast on both channels. It's something that we're very excited, regardless, to be able to still bring you content. So with that being said, welcome back again to our channel. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome back. And also, if you are listening on Spotify, you will hear some of the recording that is going to be very synonymous to obviously one big part that you will get to hear in the recording on Spotify. But just to give you an FYI, as far as that, we are continuing our topic of Relationships 101, and this is part 2. So we hope you all enjoy.
Yes.
And we will continue on with the recording from where it left off, as far as just understanding the basics of relationships.
And vulnerability.
Yes, absolutely. Raw and vulnerable.
Yes.
However, I think it's also important that we understand too where that basic foundation really lies, and what starts and creates that basic foundation of Relationships 101.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to find those similar things that you two can mesh with in order to really have that Relationship 101. I know, as far as with us, we had to take a journey to find those things that we mesh with. You know, we came from 2 different backgrounds, and so it's something that we really had to take the time out to really learn, you know.
And I think also, like you said, with the different backgrounds, it's really understanding the backgrounds of what the backgrounds really are.
Yeah.
You know, there's different types of backgrounds. You know, my background had a different set of trauma and a different set of unlearning bad behavior or bad traits or comfortable traits that were not healthy, as opposed to your traumas and your triggers and your bad behaviors and your bad habits that you developed from, you know, learned behaviors and familial behaviors that you had addressed as well.
Absolutely. You know, I know for me, I had a lot of things given to me. And I had to really learn a whole lot as soon as I moved out the house. And I know some know the story, some don't. But when I moved out the house, I immediately ran into you. And it was one where I had to pick up pace fast. You had already been there. You already did your thing, you know, and you explored life. Me, on the other hand, I used to say it all the time. I used to hate it when I would say it, but I was green still, you know, and I didn't really know much, you know. I knew about how to pay bills and all that good stuff, but like actually being on my own. And I came from a family background where it was once again a lot of strong women. And so me being that man and having my own, it was something so new to me until it was like my head was spinning when I met you. It was it was crazy, but I started understanding though who I was more and more every day after talking to you and being with you, and it came to a point where I had to say, what do I really want to bring to this relationship? You know?
Absolutely. And the reason why I'm looking is I was making sure that it was actually recording.
Yo, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I can't see
good.
it from this angle.
We good, everybody. We good. We good.
And I have to say, recording from YouTube, and because obviously we're recording on Spotify, so we're straight on that. But, you know, just like what you were saying as far as being green, I think it's super important to also understand the terminology of what green means for everyone. Yeah. Everyone has their own green.
Everyone does.
My green was learning how to be in a healthy relationship. You know, when I met you, I definitely had been in a relationship for about 5 years, but that relationship was very toxic, for lack of better words, and it was my version of comfortability because I was so used to that toxicity growing up as a child that, you know, we had realized and defined just today, right before the podcast, honestly, what I learned as a child and how comforting that was. And because of what I had learned, I essentially mimicked in that relationship in a different sort of way of mimicking. That it made me feel at home. It was familiar to me. And that familiarity for me made me feel so cozy that it took me a minute to get out of that relationship. Because it was what I knew. So when I met you, I didn't know a healthy relationship, and I based a lot of my foundations of 101 principles on meeting you from my past relationship because of that tenure, like I had mentioned in the previous episode. And what I had to realize was that was my level of green. See, I might have lived my life and been on my own since I was 21 and had my own apartment at that time. But that's one level of green. There's different versions and different levels of green that everybody has to understand where they are coming from. And I think a lot of times we're hard on ourselves. And that's one of the things, too, that when it comes to being in the foundational principles of knowing what a relationship is, it's understanding that it's a give and take. An ebb and flow. It's understanding that you have to give yourself grace, but you also have to give the other person grace. And sometimes it's a lot easier to give the other person grace as opposed to giving yourself grace because you're comparing yourself. And we live in a constant society where we're constantly comparing back and forth through Instagram, through Facebook, through the news in general, you know, through other people, seeing them, what they're driving, where they work, what clothes they're wearing, just in passing. And we compare ourselves to other people. I think of actually when it comes to comparing, I think of the time when you first met me and you told me that you were trying to figure out how to sit properly to impress me. Like, honestly, I would care.
And see, and that's the thing. So, all right, everybody. So I've known Shannon for a long time, like since 2010. 2009, 2010? 2010,
yeah. 2010.
And it was one for me that I already knew Shannon was a strong woman, right? And so here I am trying to figure out how to be this strong man, and I'm inside the mall, right there in Atlanta, and there's this guy, he's sitting right beside me on this separate chair, and I look at him and his posture, the whole nine, and I'm like, all right, you know, like I gotta look cool for Shannon because here I am, you know, trying to be this man, and this guy, he got it. So I sit beside the guy, and I'm everybody. I mean, you probably can't see me right now on Spotify, but YouTube can see me. I'm literally trying to adjust myself inside the chair, and I'm moving around, and the guy is just staring at me, trying to mimic him. And so as he would move, I would move. He got up and left.
Because it was weird.
It was
That's
very
the reason
weird.
why, because it's very strange.
It was very weird. And so by the time she popped up, I got up and I believe I tripped. I can't quite remember. But all I know is I was more so embarrassed than actually if I was just to be myself. And so those comparisons, we all do compare, and I will go on that as well. We all really do compare, and what we have to really realize is there's nothing to compare yourself with, honestly, besides yourself. You should wake up every day wanting to be better than you were the last day. You know, you should have wanting to pick up a new skill or a new thought process, a new perspective, something that you're doing better. And that was what I started realizing for myself. And I'll be very honest with you. I started realizing that just recently, just this year. I'm not gonna lie, I was going through it, y'all. I was. And when you start realizing that you have everything inside of you to be a better you, things start to change for you. They do.
And they really do start to make you think in a different perspective. You know, I remember when he was telling me that story that he was sitting beside the man and trying to emulate the man, and I remember thinking from the jump, that is so strange. I would probably get up and do the same thing. However, I understood why you did it, because you were trying to figure out what that dynamic was supposed to really look like. How a man was supposed to be a man.
Exactly.
So I could understand it from that perspective of him trying to do whatever he was trying to do of impressing me. And it's very interesting because for me, when I met him, I remember I could not stop talking to you about my trauma, because there was so much time that we had lost from where we had last spoken to where we honestly had reconnected. It's interesting because I look at just in general, I think of the last time, and it's so crazy. What came to my mind, one of the last times that you and I connected before we met in person in Atlanta. And I remember that you actually messaged me because I did a very interesting photo shoot. Yes, it was one of my exotic times in life where I decided to say, you know what, just forget it. I'm gonna be me. And we all do, and thank God it's nowhere to be found. That is what I have to say. But it was a very different time in life, and I will be very transparent. It was a time where I was heavily into modeling and heavily into more fitness modeling, and I tried my hand at more nude modeling. And it was something for me that was it was a vulnerable place that I was trying to be in. However, I was trying to be very risque and try to be very open. And I remember we weren't even dating at this time, everyone. Like, we were not. We were literally just friends. And I remember my mom actually said, when I posted the picture on Instagram, she said, "You have a nipple showing." And I said, "No, I don't." And I was debating back and forth with her. And then this guy literally said, "No, what are you doing? You have a nipple showing." And I really had to look. Like, I was trying to zoom in to see, but it was there. It was there. My nub, it was there. And so it was there. It was there in life. And so I realized.
I was not expecting that.
It's how we keep each other on our toes.
This is serious. We always do.
But it was one of those things that, with it being there, I realized that the accountability that was there before we even had our relationship starting. The accountability, guys, that you have to have in your life, as knowing that person is going to call you out on your shortcomings. Even if you're trying to go off, even if you're trying to go avant-garde, even if you're trying to go risque, if it's out of your character, there is still a foundational purpose that person should know your character. And I think that's what also made me feel so comfortable in relaying all my information to you that I was trying to hide from you. But it was like God was saying, look, trauma dump. And I'm not sitting here saying you should trauma dump.
No.
But
make sure you know when. But
there is something that when you know that person is your person.
Exactly.
There's something that comes with an ease.
Yeah.
And dis-ease.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
It makes you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a comfortability that comes with it because you're being yourself, but you're also being taken out of your character.
Yeah.
I think it's important that people understand the importance of knowing what a healthy relationship is for you, as opposed to also what the world paints it to be for you.
Yeah. And that's the thing, going back to this comparison. There's a lot of times where a lot of people, including myself in the past as well, we would look at what a healthy relationship is. And so you would try to follow those patterns, if you will. And there was a family, I'm not going to say who, but they were doing a lot of big things online. And I used to follow them back in the day. And it was definitely one where I would look at them and I was like, man, like, I want that for me. Like, I want to be able to do those kinds of things and get that sort of result, and to have that sort of love and that sort of success. But the thing is what works for other people, it's not going to work for you. It's not always going to be that. It's going to be one where you find out what really does work for you and then you go on that. But that also goes with taking the time to really know yourself. And Relationship 101, know yourself. Take the time out to do it. I know I would hear from a lot of old friends of mine that they never wanted to be alone. And you have to take that time to really get to know yourself, or else you're just gonna get into a relationship and you're gonna bleed all over the person, one, and then you're gonna mimic what the other person does. You're not gonna really bring anything to the relationship. You're just gonna bring an echo of them, to be very honest. And so you gotta really get to know yourself. You do.
Or I think you're also gonna bring an echo of what you think you should be echoing.
Yeah, that too.
Sometimes it's not even necessarily of them. Sometimes it's an echo of your former self.
Yeah.
I know when I had first gotten into a relationship with you, I echoed someone else who I thought, because of my past relationship, that every man wanted that type of woman instead of me just being myself.
Yeah.
I am very straightforward, very much a sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
I am, as your dad calls me, a wildflower.
Yes, you are.
I have a mentality where I don't necessarily compare myself to other people, and that's one of my flaws. That sometimes you do have to also look at other people to see what is healthy and what is also not healthy.
No, it's true.
For me, because I don't compete with other people, I compete a lot with myself. I'm very hard on myself. And so when I first met Will, that was something that was very different for him.
Yeah.
He never met a woman who was like me.
Nope.
I was very much, matter of fact, to the point, if I didn't like it, I was not in that dating phase to ever say, oh, well, let me spare your feelings. It was more like, no, let me attack your feelings. Like, you just have to just deal with it. And there's love. But my mindset and my comedic relief, if you will, was more Deadpool mixed with Maleficent.
It's true.
That's like the basis of who I was.
Yeah.
And, as time has changed in being with you, and understanding the basic dynamics of a healthy, functioning relationship, it's definitely changed me to be still, Deadpoolish, but not as Maleficent-y before she became a phoenix. If you watch the movie, if you have not watched the movie, you should watch the movie. There's a lot of good messages in that movie. But if you have not watched the movie, essentially, instead of being so cold, and so callous and so numb, you start to let that ice melt off of you. And that's exactly what was happening with me. The ice was melting off of me, and I started to feel. I started understanding what the basic foundation of what a relationship should actually be, not what was told to be. That said, family, I definitely watched that as well, the same family. And, you know, it was very troubling because I remember watching that family and seeing them together, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, I really need people like that also in my life. Not just to be that, not just to crave that love, but to be around people with that kind of love. And what I had to realize at the same time was that that love was also, I'm not going to say superficial, but you don't know also what's behind closed doors a lot of times. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to relationships. The foundational principles of what somebody is going through and what they have already stemmed upon, you have no idea what is really going on in their mind, in their soul, in their spirit, unless it's relayed to you.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of times you have to understand that what somebody else can have as those examples, if they're also not being transparent and honest to telling you everything, essentially you're finding yourself in a bind of comparing yourself, contrasting yourself with people who also you don't know personally, but not just not knowing personally, understanding that what tidbits are they also giving by also exemplifying their flaws and things that can actually make them feel less invincible and more of a human.
And that makes me go on to what I was going to speak about as well, traumas.
Yes.
So, all right, as you've already said, you know, you have gone through some traumas in your life, and I want to speak on what that looks like as your husband. So everybody, I was gonna say guys, but you know what? No. Everybody, you need to learn this. So when you're with somebody who's had traumas, listen to them. They will give you the insight. They will open the door as to what they've gone through, how they've gone through it, and then what they expect from you. But when you don't listen, you will go ahead and muddy everything that they're trying to do. Shannon was trying to talk to me, and I'll definitely put myself out here for saying this. You were trying to talk to me for, the longest time to let me understand what it was that you had gone through in your life. And I was so busy trying to save you, I wasn't realizing that I was hurting you instead. And I was holding you back. And so you take a look, everybody, you take a look at what they've gone through, right? And please gather what they're wanting from you, because sometimes they already know, like Shannon, you already knew, babe, like exactly what it was you needed to do in order for you to move forward. But me, on the other hand, here I am trying to help out. No, you need to do this instead. No, you need to do that instead. And, you know, I take a look at me back then. If I could go back in time and tell myself, I would say, slow down. Listen to what she's saying. She's saying it for a reason. She's not just saying things out of the blue for no reason at all. And then from there, work together with whatever it is she needs you to do. If she just needs for you to be the ear, just be the ear. If she just needs a shoulder to cry on, be that shoulder to cry on. You know, we had gone through so many things. A family member of ours had said, man, like, you guys are like two battling rams. And sometimes whenever you're getting to know your significant other, or if you're just dating, by the way, the person that you're interested in, you're gonna fight. All right, you're gonna have an argument. You need to learn, one, how to communicate, so that way it's not an argument. Instead, it's a talk. It's something that you two might have a disagreement with. You might even agree to disagree, because no matter what, you're two separate people. You might be so much alike, and with Shannon and I, like, babe, we are so much alike, but at the same time, we're also two different people. And so certain things that you like, I'm like, nah, not at all. And certain things that you like, I'm like, wait, hold up. And so you gotta find the commonality and the common grounds in order for you to be able to understand somebody who's had that trauma. And it takes time. It's not something that's immediate. Don't rush it. It's not immediate. And take that time to truly get to know who they are, because they will let you in if you show yourself worthy to be let in.
And I think also the big thing to piggyback off of that is understanding that the person, like in my case, and we all have our traumas. So I'm going to say that, everyone, like we all have our traumas. And like I said, kind of like the green situation, everyone's traumas look so different. You know what I mean? Everyone is going to have a different set of traumas and triggers. So again, there's no one outdoing the other. And that is the craziest thing to think of. And I've heard people say it, let me one up you on my trauma. This is not a race. This is not Amazing Race. Like you need to really reel it back in and understand these are people's feelings. And this is how you grow. But for me, with my traumas, I will definitely say my traumas came with a heavy dose of PTSD. And I have not, thankfully, really had much of an episode since February of this year. So I will definitely say, everyone, my PTSD is, and I have to say is because it's not completely gone by the grace of God. I would love to be honest and say, it's done, because I haven't had an episode, but they come and go. They come and go. And I just want to encourage also anybody who's going through PTSD. First of all, if you don't know what PTSD is, it is post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a serious disorder. Yes, it is not very something serious. In which is, okay, I went to war. That's what we typically hear. I went to war, I killed people, and this is exactly what I now deal with. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder that can happen at any given point in life from repetitive traumatic experiences. In my case, I had repetitive traumatic experiences from childhood. So my PTSD stems very, very, very deep. And as somebody who does struggle with that actively, I will definitely say I had to learn how to see a different perspective from somebody who does not have PTSD, but has triggers and traumas, and is able to healthily cope and heal and deal with those traumas and those triggers. I had to see it from the outside looking in as to how that looked and why that was also so tumultuous for you as my husband, and at the time, just my partner of dating, to understand, wait a second, hold on. Okay, I see why this could be a bit extreme for him, because this is hard. This was my everyday life, but this is not your everyday life, and now has become your everyday life. And everyone, I want to definitely say, when it comes to accepting that from somebody else, one of the things that I definitely struggle with, and we will definitely have a different episode specifically speaking about traumas and triggers.
Absolutely.
And we'll get into our own traumas and triggers to be very transparent with you all as far as what that looks like for what we're talking about. But for me, one of the biggest things that I know I struggle with was letting you in, letting you touch me. So I had seen, actually, from a celebrity, they were married, and the wife actually tried to go ahead and touch the husband as they were having a conversation. And people were telling the wife on social media, he doesn't love you, get away from him. And it was very interesting, because I was watching the video and I showed William and I said, I understand him. And I have a really hard time whenever we get into any type of arguments or disagreements, and I would have my episodes for my husband to comfort me, to touch me, because I wasn't comforted like that as a child. And so I didn't know how to embrace that kind of love and embrace that kind of affection, Lord Jesus, affection. It honestly, it was more like an infection, and it's literally like pulling out an infection from your soul. It really is an infected soul. And I had to learn how to understand how to accept your love in a way in which was highly uncomfortable. And it's still uncomfortable for me. I can be very honest and transparent. It's very uncomfortable for me. But it doesn't mean that I don't love you any less. No. If anything, I love you that much more, because it's pulling me out of my comfortabilities of what I knew as just comforting myself. And so I just want to also give that disclaimer to you all that if you are going through that, allow your person, your spouse, your partner, your significant other to really open themselves up, but you open up to allowing them to be in your life, because your life and their life intertwines. You no longer just have two separate entities. And I remember actually Will and I were just talking about this before the podcast, that when we were just talking and we were getting to that place of trying to date, and I said, all right, look, this is how it's going to go, because I was very much a control freak, and I still am. I still am. It's just, it's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. But I said, here's how it's going to go. And you're going to do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. And then at some point we come together when we got to do some things, you know? And he looked at me like,
I was like, absolutely not.
Woman, like, have you lost your everlasting mind? Nope. But for me, that's how I handled relationships. And that was my foundational purpose of a relationship, and not understanding that, wait a second, hold on. A relationship is an intertwining event of two people coming together, and not just, let's be honest, because we're all adults here, sexually, but also coming together physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, especially spiritually, having a firm foundation of understanding what your one-on-ones really look like, and what is the spiritual ground that you guys are standing upon.
Absolutely. And to go on that, I remember back when we would have those thoughts like that, and I would go to console you, to comfort you. I need everybody to understand this. When you're with somebody who has traumas like that, and to that degree, have those PTSDs like that, work with them. Don't be like me. I've done this in the past. Don't force yourself on them. Like, no, I got you. Don't do that. Don't do that. What it'll end up doing is it'll literally crack who they are. Work with them. If they say, don't touch me, you know what? Okay, let me back up. Is this okay? Is this cool? If they say, don't talk, just be quiet. Just be there. They will appreciate that. Just be there. Because when I first started with you and I experienced those the first time, due to my traumas and my insecurities from relationships that I'd been in, and even stemming from just my familial background, I would feel like I was doing something wrong and I caused it. And so then I would overcompensate with trying to make it right with being this Joe Schmo type of guy, where I wasn't even being myself. And so you would tell me things like, like, just step back for a minute, and what would I do? Step forward. And what it ends up doing, or what it ended up doing for me, it made me feel a pit in my stomach when you would talk to me about certain things. Because I want you all to know, you do something like that, they will bring it back up. All right? You're going to have to face it sooner or later. They will bring it back up, how you made them feel. And you know what? They're not wrong in it, because it's how you made them feel. And when you started telling me about how I made you feel, I was like, oh man, no, that can't really be it. And then you would tell me again, and I would be like, oh, wait a minute, no, like, she's serious. Like, she really means what she says about, like, me doing this made her feel like this. And so for everybody, it's going to be different. Mm-hmm. For everybody, it's going to be different. What makes one go up might make the other go down. Mm-hmm. It's one of those that you have to get to know who you're with and allow yourself to grow with that person. When you start growing and learning who they are, then those spouts, those disagreements, those arguments, or just those bursts of rage sometimes, mm-hmm. they get a little easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean it's going to be a cakewalk, no. But what it does mean is you can manage to get through it.
And I think it's interesting, when two people come together in that regard and accept each other's flaws.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of how you also bring things up. Yeah. I know in the past I had brought things up, and I brought things up because I a lot of times didn't have a lot of opportunity to really bring things up, mm-hmm. because it wasn't just a matter of the old saying, children should be seen but not heard. Mm. For me, mm-hmm. it was more, okay, there was a cultural issue. Yep. There was a spiritual / relational mm-hmm. issue mm-hmm. with religion. Mm-hmm. There was a family relational issue. Mm-hmm. So there were so many different issues that were all intertwined that caused me to really retract inside me and try to figure out, okay, well, who am I and how do I bring this to surface? How do I bring this to the light? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times when you finally allow yourself to embark upon that new journey of understanding it's okay to also crack. Mm-hmm. But it's okay to also crack with that person who allows you to crack.
Yes.
Because the only way that you're going to be the best person and the best version of yourself, I think about an egg. Mm-hmm. Like when you crack an egg, you will never get to the yolk.
No.
If you don't crack the egg, mm-hmm. it will just be a hard shelled egg, mm-hmm. and you'll never get to what is actually inside and what is underneath that hard exterior. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to have that person that does crack with you, but also at the same time holds you together, mm-hmm. and then cracks ever so lightly, mm-hmm. so that you can actually be in the state that you need to be in order to be your whole self. Yeah. And I think a lot of times about just how we had to navigate through communicating, how to healthily crack together and not be in a space where we're just spewing like our toilet that busted, which guys, we will tell you about that at another time. We definitely will, because that was a very interesting,
I know we're running low on time,
interesting experience. Mm-hmm. And that goes to show again how circumstances can really define and could make or break a relationship.
Yes, it
can. And we've had many that has tried to break our relationship. Yes. And I will say this, mm-hmm. and has broken our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will definitely say to everyone, if you think that you going through any type of hardship, any type of traumas, mm-hmm. any type of debilitating circumstances, that you have not been broken. Yeah. I'm going to say this. One, you're very wrong. Yeah. Because in order for you to level up, mm-hmm. if you have leveled up, let me mm-hmm. say this. If you have leveled up, then you have broken.
Yep. You've broken down.
You've broken at some given mm-hmm. point in time.
Yep.
If you have not leveled up, mm-hmm. I'm going to say this. Godspeed. Because what is about to happen, mm-hmm. if you are especially asking to be leveled up, whether you believe in God or mm-hmm. not, mm-hmm. I'm going to say this, and mm-hmm. I'm going to say a very big disclaimer. Mm-hmm. Whether you believe in God or not, mm-hmm. I've heard people say that they're calling on the universe, they're calling out to a higher power. I'm going to say this. There is a God mm-hmm. who is listening to you. Mm-hmm. Who is overseeing a lot of what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And when you don't feel like he's there, he is right there in the midst. But sometimes you just also need to cry out to him just a little bit. And when you cry out, it doesn't mean that things are linear. It doesn't mean that things are going to go smooth. It means that you are going to crack and break. And just know that you cracking and breaking with that person, mm-hmm. you also have to crack and break within yourself. That is the biggest thing more than anything else. You have to crack and break within yourself. If you don't crack and break within yourself, you're not going to crack and break with somebody else.
It's true.
You're not going to know how to do that. You're not going to feel comfortable in doing that. You're not going to feel vulnerable or wanting to feel vulnerable in that state.
Yeah.
And I know that we are running low on time.
Yeah.
But there is so much that we cannot wait to share.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a good segue into also just really speaking about traumas and triggers for our next episode. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's about that time. I think it's one that a lot of people don't want to talk about because they try to keep those hidden in the dark. And I always said it, what's done in the dark comes to light. It's always going to. So I think that's good.
And I think actually maybe taking a step further, maybe the next episode being one of our personal traumas and triggers. Like actually having it. We don't know which one, but it's one of ours.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something to go ahead and segue in. You know, definitely having as more of a personal approach, understanding that, you know, we understand and see you guys and hear you guys and can feel you guys in more way than sometimes people even realize within ourselves about us, that they realize, oh, they know me.
Yeah.
And we might not know you personally, but
we know you.
We know you. That empathy is there for us to know you.
Sure
and
is.
I think that would be a good episode.
I think it'll be good.
Next time around.
I can't wait for that. It's going to be good.
All right. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure to be able to come your way through the airways. Ooh, I like that.
You got a little slogan. Your way through the airways.
Yes. Right here on 101 Gems.
From V10.
Yeah, we don't know. Right. Yeah. There's no 101 Jams. I hope not. No. So, but anywho, thank you guys so much for just tuning in.
Yes.
We really appreciate you. We appreciate all the love and support in which you have given to us so far. If you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Ebb and Flow, or excuse me, just Ebb and Flow. It is with 3 W's. So Flow, 2 additional W's, but you will see it in the link, the bio below. And then also we do have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
And if you're on Spotify, make sure you follow, rate us.
Yes,
if you have any topics too that you want us to go ahead and talk about, yes, please throw them our way. You know, we're more than happy to go ahead and talk about. And before we sign off, is there anything that you want to share?
No, I just want you all to, you know, if you had to replay it as many times as you want. You all take care. God bless. Peace and love from above.
Peace, love, and applesauce.
See you.